Welcome back, guys. This is a video I really didn't think that I would have to make, but at the same time, I'm not surprised that I've had to make it. So as you guys know, last month I brought out a video called The Teeny Movie. This was in response to things that Teeny Giant had said to me on her stream, and also the multiple lies she's told across the year. I also made a video last week which talked about how she handled somebody reaching out to her. Now, if you haven't seen those videos, I'd familiarize yourself with those first so you can get more context to this. So she decided that she's finally going to hold herself accountable and apologize. Fantastic, right? She's going to apologize and take responsibility for everything she's said and done. Well, she's going to apologize and take full responsibility for how she treated the victim and what happened. Okay, so I'm going to cut to the chase. Teeny Giant did a stream the other day, and surprise, surprise, it's packed with lies. I thought after last week she'd just apologize and keep her mouth shut, but apparently she has trouble doing that. She keeps making it clear how she doesn't want me talking about her, yet she insists on continuing to talk about me. That's fine, but if you're going to tell lies about me and other people, I'm going to call them out and I'm going to show everybody that you're a liar and continue to be a liar. All right, so let's take a look at what she had to say.
Where should we start, guys? Does anyone want to give an idea of why we're here?
With an apology, maybe?
Of what's been going on, because this is why I'm live, is to talk to you guys and to I've held myself accountable for a couple of things that I did.
No, she hasn't. When you hold yourself accountable, you accept everything that's happened. What you'll go on to see is that she doesn't accept everything that's happened and she lies about what's happened. You cannot take responsibility and hold yourself accountable if you are fabricating the details of what happened. I like this comment. I swear to God, people need to stop pointing the finger unless they are perfect. Right, so we don't call out people's shitty behavior because we're not perfect. So we just let everybody get away with everything, no matter the magnitude of the situation.
There are some things that have come to light that maybe will make you change your mind, and I'm here to be honest about that. I'm not here to hide behind it. So I'm gonna tell you that I am not perfect either.
That would be the understatement of the century.
I utterly apologize, but I made a really big fuck up at the beginning of this year.
Yes, you did. What happened?
A victim came to me.
No, they didn't. A victim did not come to you. That's a lie. You approached her.
And she said, hey, your friend, he assaulted me. Just so you know, well, she didn't actually say that. She approached me.
She didn't approach you. Again, you've said it again. Now, the funny thing about this is she actually catches herself out later on. And she also gets questioned by a random chatter. What's really interesting is the way that she tries to back out of it. The very start of her talking about what happened, her taking accountability, she's lying. And you'll see why these details are so important in situations like this as we go on.
But no, we got talking, and she said, hey, your friend assaulted me, and I did a really shit thing. And I said, actually, well, like, I don't know you. My friend is like, he's tipping me into partner numbers right now. And when I say tipping me into partner numbers, he wasn't raiding me. He had maybe like 2 or 3 people tab.
Now, she said to the victim she couldn't say anything because that person was helping her get into partner numbers. She's saying 3 people were tabbing her up. 3. So what she was saying at the time is she didn't want to call him out or say anything for the sake of 3 people tabbing.
But for me, that was really important, and because I'd worked really hard to get to that stage, and I was looking out for myself.
That's very true. You were looking out for yourself and not looking out for somebody that was a victim. You'd also been riding the hover wave and taking advantage of smaller streamers to get you to that point. That's the hard work that she's talking about.
And I said, hey, like, fuck that guy, yo, but also I need to look out for myself. And this was a really, really shitty thing to do. You can all call me a shit person if you want, because honestly, when
you're a shit person,
when I realized what I had done, I felt like a shit person.
You are a shit person, not just because of this.
Genuinely, I felt like the world's worst person. I've had a few bad nights, sleepless nights over this.
And here we go, straight into the woe is me. And it's funny you say that, because I reckon that the victim has possibly had quite a few sleepless nights themselves. Not helped by going to people like Teeny, thinking that they would help them, and them turning them away for the sake of 3 tabbed viewers.
I was not a safe person to go to. This was the first time a victim had...
She says was not a safe person to go to. It is my opinion she is still not a safe person to go to. And given her reluctance to make any changes, she will never be a safe person to go to.
This is the first time I'd ever had success on a platform. And this was the first time that I've ever been in a position where someone had basically asked me.
I mean, it's not funny, but it kind of is. When you got people saying, I really appreciate you being honest about this. Now, I get it. The people in the chat are probably not going to watch my videos if they're fans or viewers of hers and they know about the past between us. But she doesn't tell you the truth. Even now, she is not telling the truth when she's coming clean. And to be honest, you know, some of these people I know have gone for me and refused to listen. You know, I don't really have too much sympathy for those because all I've ever asked for is them to listen and they don't. However, there are people that are just completely unaware. And there are plenty of people in this chat saying they didn't know what had happened or what was going on. People stay away from Twitter, people stay away from my videos, etc. And that's fair enough, but those people are just straight up lied to in teeny streams.
Me to pick a side based on a sexual assault. At this point in time, I'd never been assaulted myself. I had never had anyone had to come to me. I had never had to deal with these things. I didn't know the thing to do, but still.
A guy has been a predator and assaulted somebody. What should I do? Oh, yeah. I'll call him out and I'll tell people about it. Oh, no, wait, the 3 people that tabbed me up. Oh, no, I can't. And on reflection, I just didn't know what to do.
Looking back, it is still not the thing that you do.
No shit.
And I hold my hands up and I say, hey, guys, I fucked up. I really did. What I did was the dumbest fucking thing a person can do. And no, not because it bit me in the ass. I had forgotten about this. This was in February, and my Discord cleans itself every 6 months.
Remember that, because that's very, very important. A Discord cleans itself out every 6 months. Only she's lying again. But don't just take my word for it. She'll show you later on herself. Sunflower Vixen says, see, but that's the difference between a shit person and you. You realize you made a mistake and are owning up to it. Whereas a shit person would have just pushed it under the rug. She did push it under the rug for 9 months. It's exactly what she did.
So after 6 months, if you haven't messaged me, your message goes. It archives itself. A lot of you will probably have been in Molly May's stream last night. Molly, I consider a friend.
Does she consider you a friend?
She holds me accountable. She is the person that will pull me up and she will say, you're being a fucking cunt right now. She is that person. And over the past few months, especially since I was assaulted, I've made it a very, very good point to surround myself with people like that.
Yeah, by the looks of the chat, you are definitely surrounded by people like that.
So all this whole year, with that in my past, I've been trying to surround myself with better people. I call them the mediators. You probably recognize a few.
Imagine you're at the point where you have to have a group of friends that you call the mediators. Of course, it's a good thing for your friends to hold yourself accountable. But if all your friends around you are holding you accountable so regularly, then there's probably quite a few mistakes that you are making. Although all the other mistakes and lies that she's made, she hasn't owned up to.
Sophie Darling is one of them, 100%. She is someone that I would trust to give me an honest opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Molly May as well. Gentleman JR. These are all people that I consider the mediators of the Twitch sphere.
I don't get it. I don't get it at all, how she can just start calling out a few names and say, well, I choose these people to hold me accountable. Why don't you just be open to anybody holding you accountable? It doesn't mean you have to, but you can always listen, right?
Being an asshole, quite frankly. And I was not a safe person to go to. But since my own assault, since my own things, I have been learning a lot. And I've made it a point to learn, and I've made it a point to always ask the opinions of these people that I call the mediators, because these people will always check me if my opinion is wrong, and they will always make sure that I'm putting my best foot forward in future.
Well, that hasn't happened in 9 months, so the mediators, as you call them, and this is not a slight at them because this is her telling it, not them, haven't done a very good job, have they? Because you've continued to lie. You've continued to manipulate. and you've continued to abuse people's trust.
And that is why I trust them. Have I fucked up? Yes. Did I message Pinnipy as soon as I saw Ghost's tweet longer? Yes. I sent her a message and I said, hey, I think we need a phone call. I owe you an apology.
She will always want to do this. She will always try and get in a phone call. Now, this is often a good idea. Talking to somebody face to face, even through the internet, is often a good idea, a good way to resolve things. However, when you're dealing with a master manipulator like Teeny, it is not a very good idea, because that way she can privately lie and manipulate. And she has done it many, many times.
That is the exact words I said. And then I had a phone call with her. A mediated phone call with Molly May there, so that if I said anything untoward, if it appeared like I was being manipulative.
A mediated phone call with somebody that you consider a friend, somebody that you hang around with outside a stream. Now, again, this isn't a slight at Molly, and I'm not questioning her being a mediator, but surely a proper mediator would have no affiliation whatsoever. And then the whole thing is taken off record.
Untoward, if it appeared like I was being manipulative or lying or anything like that, she could check me on it. That is what I did. And I've made a point to always keep myself accountable, and this is what I'm doing. I'm keeping myself accountable. I even tweeted an apology as well, so that people knew that I wasn't hiding behind it, even though I handle things privately.
So the tweet that she put out on the Twit longer, she failed to mention publicly that the reason she didn't say anything was because of her pushing for partner and the numbers that she might lose by being honest about it. So again, the first apology comes out. She doesn't tell the full truth. So she comes out again to apologize. She still doesn't tell the full truth. Anybody seeing any patterns?
I still made a public apology, which led to me being it led to me receiving a lot of very strongly worded messages.
Are you surprised?
Like, damn, y'all, damn. Some of the messages I received were not okay.
I imagine that some of the messages that she received were not okay. Just the way like she acts is not okay. I obviously don't condone any threats of violence or anything like that. However, when you play with fire like she does, you're probably going to get your fingers burned at some point. And again, we're now deflecting onto messages she's received. And again, she's always played a brilliant victim. Always, always.
Some of the people that sent me messages really need to check themselves. And that's okay. They're angry, they're in the moment, and they're angry because of recent events, which I will go into. Who was here for the shit that happened at the beginning of November? Hands up, please. Or a 1 in chat. Hands up, 1 in chat. Check me. Now, everything needs to be aired like dirty laundry. At least you've handled it in a way that was right for you and everyone involved. Yes. So unfortunately, I had to private my Twitter so that people would stop messaging me.
You see, when things get handled in a private way, like what happened with the victim, the truth often doesn't come out because there are so many people who know different bits of information that can say, oh, hang on a minute, that's not quite right. But the problem with keeping everything behind closed doors is a lot of people can have too much influence. A lot of people can divert the narrative. And that's why I'm an open book and invite anybody to come and challenge me on anything that I say.
Private Twitter, and then I just deleted Twitter. Honestly, I've been here 2 nights. I haven't slept either night.
Are we supposed to feel sorry for you for that? For something you did? You haven't slept for 2 nights because of the messages you got that were a repercussion of angry people because of the way you acted.
Because the hate messages, a couple of them have brought me to tears in the middle of the night.
Let's think about the victim's tears. Let's think about all the people who were manipulated by this woman. But sure, in you taking responsibility for everything you've done, you better put it out there that you've had a hard time.
And I cried on my own because I felt like I deserved it.
This is what I'm talking about with this victim mentality. The only reason you came clean about any of this was because it was brought to anybody's attention. And then even when you made the apology tweet, you didn't tell the full story.
So I surround myself with people that I inherently trust. And they inherently trust me, I hope.
Interesting. I wonder how many people truthfully who have all the information about what she's done fully trust her?
The beginning of the month, I mentioned someone's name and a video came out.
Who was that?
Did I watch the video? No, I don't watch any of his videos. Please stop sending me screenshots of his videos. I could not give a fuck.
To be fair, if I told a shed load of lies, manipulated a shed load of people, and then tried to carry on and cover up everything, I probably wouldn't want to watch that video about myself either. So I can't exactly say I'm surprised. But then again, is that really holding yourself accountable? No, of course, because you've got the mediators. You only listen to the mediators, right?
In such a bad way, because we know that Jess does not stand for those things. Let's put that like that. We know that she doesn't stand for those things. It was hurtful. Oh, fuck me.
Teeny Pop, she is controlled. That's a pretty big statement. To move across the country and leave everyone you've ever known, ... Lots of people did it. In fact, Teeny's done it several times. And I wonder why Teeny's moved so many times.
Perfectly comfortable. Trigger warning. Turn it down, you have 5 seconds. Well, I was perfectly comfortable walking down to my kitchen to find a bottle of pills which I knew would eventually stop my heart if I took them.
Now, the thing is here, this is obviously an incredibly serious thing to be talking about. Nobody can ever prove exactly how somebody feels at any one time. And her saying that leaves me completely torn because I know she is such a liar and such a manipulator that, honestly, I don't believe she felt that way. Now, you can think I'm a horrible person for that, but given everything else and the way she tries to manipulate things to make people feel sorry for her and then continues to lie, even through her apology, I don't believe it. I'm not saying she didn't. I can't. Nobody can. Do I believe it? No.
And I was so comfortable doing that, and it was the clearest I had ever thought. And it was terrifying. And it was because of the combined actions of these three, but the least of which, Jess.
It's because the combined actions of these three, but the least of three, Jess. So she's talking about me, Tony, and Jess. It's our fault. Even though all I've ever done is tell the truth. Can that be said for Teeny? Absolutely not. Did she once ask my viewers to report me? Yes, she did. Has she lied through her teeth for the entirety that I've known her? Yes, and I've proven it too. Are Jess and Tony privy to a lot of the information that I'm privy to and they were told separately? They absolutely are. And actually, far more information than most people know. A lot of information that Teeny has still not held herself accountable for and still hasn't taken responsibility for. And yes, her own assault personally, yes, it happened as far as I'm concerned. Can I also understand why people might be skeptical, given her history and everything else? Yes, I absolutely can.
Jess, we do not make assumptions about her home life. We do not. However, if I was putting myself in her shoes, I don't know if I wouldn't have done the same thing as her.
So you've just made assumptions about her home life after saying we don't. Because of this basically one incident that people would allege that she is controlled, manipulated, or under some kind of weird mental imprisonment by Tony is completely absurd and unfair. Of course, nobody knows what goes on behind closed doors. But in this one instance, to suggest that to me looks like a huge deflection on the people defending Teeny Giant's part. Whatever Tony said, right or wrong. And I've spoken about that at length. I do not agree with the things that Tony said. But I said I understood his frustration. And I'll keep saying that. I don't care. It's what I think. It's just funny how the people who defend Teeny will get really bent out of shape about this. And you can argue, yeah, okay, fair enough. But she can lie time after time after time, sweep it under the rug, keep it hidden for ages, and then lie about it again. And everyone's like, you're such a good person for doing this.
I would have not condoned the actions, obviously. but she didn't have really anyone to turn to.
How do you know? How does she know who she's got to turn to and who she hasn't got to turn to? You are speaking for Jess now. That is not okay.
The person that she trusted the most had broken that trust in a way that I don't think anyone could really have expected. And I think, honestly, the kind of behavior that we saw does definitely concern me, but it is not my place to air the exact concerns or to suggest that other people are concerned.
I mean, you've pretty much just done exactly that.
And I know that several other creators in that sphere are also concerned.
So she's now justifying what she's been talking about by saying, well, other people think it too. I thought this was supposed to be about you. I thought this was about you being accountable and coming clean. But there's a really important question here that she's not answered in the chat yet. If you don't know Pin, aka the victim, why did they message you? Why would they randomly message Teeny? It's because they didn't. So let's see how she answers that. She's just asked people to ask the questions.
I'm just going to go ahead and Mama Joe asked, if you don't know Pin, why did they message you? Where did you ask that? Where's Mama Joe? If I don't know Pinippy? Mama Joe, can you ask the question again? Just pretend like I'm a 5-year-old.
The question is quite simple. If you don't know Pinippy, why did she message you? You literally opened the video talking about it. The message that you received. She contacted you, as you said. So, very good question, because it doesn't make any sense, does it? And you're struggling to answer it. You want it given to you again, like a 5-year-old, as you said. Kind of looks like you're thinking of a way to worm yourself out of it. Just my opinion. How much longer is it going to take you to answer?
And I need to know, like, when exactly you mean. If I don't know Pinippy. So this is actually what I'm going to get into, which is a little bit about what it was like being on the wrong side. If this helps you. If it still doesn't, please feel free to ask. Mods, if I'm missing any questions, please highlight them. I'm not hiding behind anything. I'm not trying to skip anything.
She just said she's not trying to hide anything or skip anything. Nobody accused her of that. I believe it's what you call a Freudian slip. She said that because it's on her mind, because she is trying to worm her way out of answering the question. She's just started to move on to another question, but then Lioness has asked again, if you don't know Pin, why did they message you? You said you don't really know them. Dizzy Webb, in February, Teeny. Everyone else seems to know what the question means, but you, who was involved.
Gotten to know yourself, Cinderella, and many others, but I do want in the best and right ways. Thank you, Rebound. If you don't know Pin, why did they message you? Kelly, thank you so much for the 9 months.
So
okay.
Stupid.
Thank you for the question. If you don't know Pinippy, why do they message you? You said you don't really know them. Okay, so this is actually part of what I was about to get into. So thank you for like putting me on the right track, honestly. And also I do want to preface this with I have this thing that I do when I'm nervous, which is I kind of like chuckle or laugh. And I promise you, I'm not laughing at the situation. I'm not making light of it. It is just something that I do when I'm nervous. And obviously, this whole thing has had my anxiety through the roof to the point where I've been throwing up and crying and my head has been like on fire.
She starts to laugh when she's nervous, and this is quite common. Why would she suddenly be nervous now because of that question, considering everything that's been talked about? I could understand it if they said they were nervous about the whole thing, but why does she start to mention that now? Why would she suddenly mention that she's nervous? And now why would she talk about getting so anxious that she's thrown up? Is it because she wants you to feel sorry for her? Is she trying to buy time because she still hasn't answered the question?
One of my friends, Twoodles, messages me and said, hey, you need to hear this girl out. Just so you know. Like, you need to hear out this girl. And I was like, okay, you know what? Give me her username. I'll message her right now and ask us out of the story.
So she didn't message you. She didn't approach you. You went to her. And the reason you said that she came to you was because it makes you look like you didn't ask for it, when actually you went to her.
And when I went to the messages and I was starting to type, I could see she was already typing to me. She was already typing a message. So the one...
Oh no, you did not. You did not say that. I'd forgotten that she said that. Don't worry. She's going to pull the messages up for us.
One thing that Ghost had said to me was that she approaches people. And for me, that kind of rang true with her behavior that she was doing there. Thank you. So this is just like how I'm explaining it to you. This is like my side of things, how I saw it. So if you look at the beginning of our messages, and if I scroll all the way up, I hope she doesn't really mind me doing this. But I'm just scrolling up right now. Fucking hell, I suck. Like, honestly, I normally would have stuff ready, but this is kind of...
I hope she doesn't mind. Well, tough shit, because she's getting them up anyway. And here we go. The messages are up. So as you can see, the very first message is from February, yet she says that her messages are gone after 6 months.
I had forgotten about this. This was in February, and my Discord cleans itself every 6 months.
This was recorded in November. She says she just forgotten the message was gone. It wasn't gone, was it? Again, you said she approached you. She didn't.
So it says, so you see, hi, I'm aware of this. Aw, thank you. Ow, that's hotter than fucking lava.
The children are sleeping. Shut your fucking mouth.
Jesus.
Why did she message you first? That's why.
She didn't. That's why. She didn't. That's your answer.
Yeah, Molly, my bad. Honestly, I was just trying to show them the hello. And explaining why she messaged me first. And that's I'm glad I can answer your question. Pinippy, if you're watching, I'm sorry for showing the beginning of a message, I guess.
That apology. Because Molly called her out for showing the messages. Oh, I'm sorry for showing the beginning of the messages, I guess. Yikes.
He acted like such a convincing victim. So convincing that he had over 100 people in his stream team fooled. So it wasn't just me. I was just the one fucking idiot. The stupidest piece of shit that made a comment that I shouldn't have done.
No, you didn't believe him. You went and spoke to Pinippy. You told them you keep him at arm's length. You told them the only reason you couldn't do anything was because of your partnership numbers. Now you're trying to change the narrative and say you were convinced by Ghost. Again, not taking responsibility for what happened.
Put a 1 in chat if you read my tweet longer.
Oh my God.
Writing was never my strong suit, guys. But I was just trying to say how I felt and really, really get it out there. A lot of us were new to the team and just wiped and redid the recruitment. Yes. Of course you didn't. Basically, it was me kind of explaining from the beginning how my year of... how I'd been basically... It felt like I'd had a year of bullying and being targeted. And Tony was the thing on the top, the cherry on the top. He wanted to hold me accountable, but he did it in a fucking awful way. I'm just gonna drink the tea. I've just realised this is tea, Cinderella. Thank you so much. I mean, I wrote it out once, and I didn't really edit much, but I showed it to my mediators, the mediators that I trust, people who will call me on any bullshit, and none of them had any edits.
No, they didn't have any edits.
But
these people that she trusts, her mediators for her twit longer, didn't have any edits. Despite the fact if they looked at the messages, they'd have known the reason she gave was because she wanted to get to 75 viewers. But these people she trusts, apparently, according to her, these people that hold her accountable, according to her, didn't think it was necessary to put that in the twit longer. Now, I must stress, this is only what she is saying.
I do have a little bit of an issue. I guess. I've been held accountable. I held myself accountable. Molly held me accountable. Twitter has definitely held me accountable. But where is the video on Tony?
And I've had this from multiple of Teeny's supporters, like it's an answer to what Teeny's done, which obviously it isn't. Well, I have already spoken about it, but if I was to make a video on what Tony did, 1, it would be very short. 2, it's not very often that I've been given one piece of information and then made a whole video on it. So I'm not exactly sure why they think that that is similar to any of the other videos I've done. And 3, you just batting things back on to me again. But I did openly speak about it publicly. And I didn't tell any lies. And I'll say it again and again and again. Will there be a video on it? No. If it happened again, would there be a video on it? Possibly. And let's be clear, I've never made a video on the back of something like that, especially as a one-off.
1 or 2 things I said in February, yeah, they were fucked up. You can all give me a slap in the face for that. I actually don't think I have !slap working on this PC, but
if you want to take a long list of the things she's done, you can either watch through all the videos about Teeny or watch the Teeny movie and the last video about Teeny.
It hurt, that one. Where is the video on Tony? Or do call-outs only apply to people that you hate? Do call-outs only apply to people that you don't like?
I mean, I had no idea who Ghost was. Like, literally no idea who he was. I've spoken several times, including earlier, about the Tony thing, so... yeah. I don't really know what else I can say. Apart from I didn't agree with what he said.
He still hasn't been held accountable. Where is the same passion for rectifying wrongs that you show for me, but not for the person that actually harmed a lot of people?
I mean, you actually harmed a lot of people. You also came at me first. How this started was she came into my inbox, we had a chat, left it fine, and then she proceeded the next day to use me as content. She used lies. She couldn't use graphs. She later admitted that she was in Hover for her own selfish gains.
Oh, it's okay. Let's just brush it under the rug. No one's going to notice because I'm going to put out another video and put her name in it. Look what she did. Cool. I've admitted to that before you even released your video.
You didn't admit to it, but, you know, you admitted to something else that you twisted. I haven't brushed anything under the rug. And after it came out, I gave it a few days because you'd specifically asked to not talk about it. And then I spoke out about it publicly.
No one is holding Tony accountable. It's only me. Especially after I just released a tweet longer saying this same person has been harassing me for a year. And then all of a sudden there's something brand new. Something brand new which just so happens to distract from the fact that his friend has done something incredibly shitty? No. Where is the demanded...
Hang on, what's she suggesting there? Suddenly there's something brand new. As soon as I heard about this, I started digging into it, Teeny. You asked somebody, they told you, and you ignored it. But what you're alluding to there is that possibly I made this to help sweep that under the rug? Are you serious? I've never even been in one of Tony's streams. I met him once at TwitchCon and then saw him in passing once at TwitchCon. What makes you think that I would go against my morals to protect him?
But, and honestly, like, I know you're probably here. Just type in chat. Stop hiding on anon mode. It's cringe. Stop fucking hiding on anon mode.
Okay, so I wasn't there. And if I was, and I tried to type in chat, I would get this despite having ever said anything in the chat.
And I know you do it. I know that you sit there and hide on anon mode and record my streams. The VOD is going to be available. Just type in chat, ask your questions, debate me. You destroy me in a debate, right?
I would destroy you
Or
in
is
a
it that
debate.
you struggle to make a point?
I don't think I've ever struggled to make a point. Particularly with you, it's quite easy.
Without having to type it out, or without having to pre-script it and twist it your way. Like, my Discord is open. You can literally just fucking call me right now. Like, go on then. No guts. It's not even that. Like, I asked
Teeny Pop, no guts. Me, no guts. Me. Yeah, that's something I've often worried about and people say all the time.
him for a debate before through a mediator. That mediator was one of the mediators that I trust.
Mm-hmm.
And from my understanding, he didn't want to play fair. Now that's not cricket, is it? So yes, I would prefer it if you would talk to me face to face. You seem very nice face to face. But I imagine there'll be another video, and honestly, I do not give a fuck. All I'm doing is giving you views. You're welcome.
I remember talking about this while I was away in the States with the mediator. The mediator was Molly May. But despite their relationship, which at the time I considered a friendship between those two, I agreed for Molly to be the mediator, and we agreed to do the debate live. There was some issues because I wanted to have stuff that could back up what I was claiming, which Teeny didn't really want. Molly seemed to think it would affect the flow of things. And obviously, with me being allowed to do that, Teeny would be allowed to do exactly the same. What kind of evidence she would drag up, I don't really know. But of course, if I'm allowed to do it, she should be allowed to do it as well. Eventually, there was an agreement, but then we never set a date. So I went and chased it up. Molly said she'd been busy, etc. I went to chase it up again. Nothing happened. And now Molly can confirm this. Teeny backed out of the debate. We'd agreed to do it, and she backed out. That is another huge lie on her part. Because I am not worried about debating anybody. As soon as a Support for Support streamer asked me to go for an interview on their show, in their stream, no mediator, I jumped at the chance. I went and did it. I will always give at least some of my time if I can. And for this, I would jump at the chance. It would be the easiest debate I've had in my life.
I don't think they're afraid to debate me. They say that they'd destroy me in a debate, but I honestly don't think so. I think they talk over me, which isn't the same thing.
It's interesting that she says that because that's why there'd be a mediator there, right? Now she's saying, oh, he just talks over people. Okay, well, that's interesting. Do you have any evidence of that? Can you back that up? Are you just pulling that out the air to make me look bad? Sunflower Vixen, he's scared and wants to hide behind his own videos instead of doing it live. That's kind of twat behavior, to be honest. Is it, Nicotine? You're the one that's stupid enough to keep lapping up her lies, so good luck to you. Haley Starmix, I'll 1v1 him. Yeah.
So honestly, if 2 screenshots or whatever, I don't know how many screenshots are because I didn't watch your video. If that's bad enough for me to be put in the same light as the person that assaulted someone, multiple, much more vile things all over Twitter surely should equal an hour-long special, should it not?
An hour-long special. The hour-long special about Teeny was stuff going back to February because there is literally so much.
Pinnipy, if you are here, I will never stop apologizing for believing in ghost lies about you.
Oh my gosh. It's gone from doing a shitty thing because of how hard you'd worked to use a partner to believing ghosts' lies because one of them's quite different to the other. I guess that all that really is left to say is that, Teeny, let's have the debate. The one that you said I won't have, that you actually backed out of.